Hello, algebra students. Okay, so we are in day one of our final review. Now, our final review is going to look exactly what I'm doing here. I'm going to take it slow over the next week, and I am not going to do the whole exam in 1 day or 2 days. I'm going to do it over the course of the week. So today, I'm only doing 3 questions. The first 3 questions. Now, this exam that we're going to take is going to have pretty much the same questions in the same order. The difference is the numbers are going to change. So you have to know how to do them, and I'm going to show you how to do them. But the trick you're responsible is dealing with the new numbers. But I think it should be pretty easy if you follow along. Remember, these videos are going to be also up during the final exam. So if, let's say, you're taking that final exam on June 11th, which it is next Thursday, you will be there and you'll be like, oh, I forgot how to do this. You can go back to day one's lessons and look at the first 3 problems and see how I did them. And that should give you a pretty good idea of how you should do them. Even though the numbers have changed, the types of problems are the same. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so to keep this quick, let's go through this. Basically, we're solving for x. Here we go, inverse operations. Now, when you do inverse operations on a multi-step or a 2-step equation like this, remember, when you have 2 steps, you do addition and subtraction first, then you do multiplication or division second. So this case right here, I got this a subtraction first, so I got to deal with that. So I'm going to make a line here. I'm going to say, well, how do I get rid of that 4? The idea is to, remember, isolate the variable, which means that I got to get x by itself. So a final example, at the end, it has to say x equals. So the 2 problems I see right away when I'm doing this are this -4 and this 2. And this really reads 2 times x minus 4. So I have to do subtraction first, deal with that first. So I'm going to have to do the opposite of subtraction, which is addition. That means also, to make this work out, to keep this balanced, I have to do the same thing over here. I have to add over here. What number am I going to add by? Well, I want to get rid of the 4. And if I make it plus 4 here, and plus 4 here, this number I want to get rid of, that 4, -4 plus 4 goes to 0. So it's gone. Now, it's not really gone because I just moved it over here, so I still have to take care of this. 10 plus 4 is 14, but on this side, it's gone. And now I have the 2x equals. Next step. Well, what is now preventing from x being by itself? Well, here it's going to be 2. Well, I got to get rid of this 2. This is 2 times x. Times multiplication. Opposite of multiplication is division. So I'm going to divide both sides. Now, what number am I going to divide it by? I want to get rid of the 2 because I want x to be by itself. He wants to kick out all the numbers. So we divide both sides by 2. 2 divided by 2 becomes 1. And guess what? It becomes x. I bring down the equal sign. 14 divided by 2. I do that in the calculator if I don't know what it is. Some of us are good and can do it in our heads. 14 divided by 2. And know it's 7. And that's it. Now, if you wanted to check the work, you just substitute in x for 7 and make sure that works out. 2 times 7 is 14. 14 minus 4 is 10. That checks out. This is just a check. You don't have to do this on the final exam. I'm just saying if you want to get full credit and make sure you get everything right, it might be good to do that. Next question. It gets a little bit simpler for this one. I want to solve for x, which means I want to get x by itself. I want x on the other side. I want to have x by itself on this side. X doesn't want to be roommates with anyone. He wants to get rid of everyone. He wants to have the apartment to himself. So he wants to get rid of -8. The only way to get rid of -8 is x minus 8 is plus. But that means over here, I'm going to have to move 8 over too. So if I add 8 here, I will also have to add 8 here. So if you think about x, he's getting rid of 8. He's got to send the 8 somewhere. He's got to send it to live with 22. Because he wants the apartment by himself, but you can't make 8 homeless. You can't just kick him out in the street. It doesn't work like that. x equals 22 plus 8. If you do it in your calculator, it's 30. And if you wanted to do the check, where you see the x, you put the 30, put that in the calculator, you'll see 22 equals 22. But this is just a check. You don't have to do it. Just showing you. One last problem for today. See, it wasn't so bad. Let's do this. 3x minus 18. Same thing. I want to get x by itself. X wants to be in the apartment by himself. He wants to get rid of everyone else. He's living with 3. He doesn't want to live with 3. He wants to throw 3 out. So it's 3 times x. The way he can get rid of 3 is divide both sides by 3. But he can't just throw 3 out on the street. He's got to divide over here also and put 3 to live with 18. Okay, so 3 divided by 3 is x. I bring down the equal sign, and I do negative 18 divided by 3. Negative 18 divided by 3 is negative 6 in the calculator. And if you check your work, you will see that's good as well. So copy these down, send it back to me to work. Listen, you don't have to do the checks on your work. I just want you to show me this stuff. Send it back on a plain piece of paper. Take a picture, upload it, give it to me, and I will be very happy, and you will do a good job on this exam. All right, guys. Talk to you tomorrow.